That's my baby. I'm dying.
That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah!
What the fuck are you talking about?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new edition of the Hockey Happy Hour live on A2DRadio.com. I am Madsen Sudi along with the Darkwing Brian Daly.
What's up?
And Rob will not be joining us tonight. However, though, he will probably be in the chat, and he is always here in spirit. So he'll be back next week when we continue our trek through the Flyers season. And tonight, as always, we are brought to you by Body Check Wellness, which they have the promo code A2D to get you 20% off your order. And Body Check Wellness is a line of products that is using the full potential of hemp. They have topicals, blends, ointments, everything that you need right now going on. And when Mr. Riley Cote, the man who created Body Check Wellness, when he is on with us, which he is once a month, you can get 40% off of your order using the A2D code of a special box that they have of THC-free products. If you feel a little nervous about trying some hemp products, they do have THC-free as well, so you can ease yourself into it and then say, oh, okay, then I guess I will try the hemp as well. And there you go.
Yeah.
And also, of course, we are brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy, Dr. Paul Vidal. Listen, man, any once in a while, life can throw a little bit of some aches and pains your way, and trust me, you don't want to wait until the last minute to get anything fixed and don't want it to get worse. So you absolutely want to go to Specialized Physical Therapy. They'll take care of you. You can make an appointment at www.specializedphysicaltherapy.com, and they have 2 locations in Burlington and Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Bri, you know all about it, man. You had to get your shoulder taken care of, and it went very, very well.
It's been very, very well. I got about 1 appointment left to build up my shoulder. They do a great job. Real easy to get scheduled an appointment. The people there are just amazing, and they all do a great job. So if you have any issues, do not hesitate to go to Specialized Physical Therapy. He's our doc. Make him yours.
There you go. All right. And looking to buy or sell a home, if you're trying to make that next step in life, then guess what? You can go to Alan Foy at eXp Realty LLC at 302-682-8820, or visit them on the web at alan.foy at exprealty.com, and he'll get you all squared and straight away. Before you know it, you'll either be having your home sold or you'll be stepping into your brand new home. There you go. Make a move in the world.
Some crazy comments in the chat already. A lot of people are already like, I'm not used to seeing nice win from Tommy. Great win from Frank. Good win from, I'm sorry for this YouTube user. I'm probably going to butcher your name, and I'm going to apologize now for it. Absadu Ba. I hope I was at least somewhat close. He said good win. He's also saying, what's up, guys? Even Pete just said, hey, good win. I'm not used to seeing this.
Hey, well, what's up, guys?
We'll break it down, too. Hope everybody's having a great night.
Absolutely. We thank you for joining us here. And then the final couple of sponsors that we have here. For anyone out there dealing with any mental issues or any kind of addiction issues, Sunrise Detox Counseling Center, don't wait for those problems to get out of control for you or for a loved one, and call 856-651-8117, Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox. They'll take care of you there. And then finally, there was a fire that unfortunately caused damage to All Campus OC, and we've been trying to help them out. And they have a GoFundMe, so if you can donate anything, that'd be absolutely appreciated. If not, thoughts and prayers just as much appreciated as well. They're hoping to cut down the cost of getting themselves back up and running. So they're a great sponsor. John Coyle's an awesome guy, and we want to help him out as best we can. So go ahead, check out that GoFundMe as well. And before we dive into the game tonight, the Twitter question that we had for everybody was, is the Flyers Rangers rivalry? It is the second best in Flyers history. And obviously we're going to have to say second best because most people are going to say the Penguins and the Flyers are number one. So the question is, what one's number two? Is it the Rangers or is it another team? Is it the Bruins? Is it the Capitals? Which one would you say is the Flyers' number two most hated team in the franchise history? Go ahead. The floor is yours.
See, this is tricky because this could go a couple different ways. Because there's been a couple of decent rivalries that have kind of sparked up over the last couple of years that have been quite entertaining. You could throw the Capitals in there. They've been pretty feisty the last few years. Like you said, the Bruins.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Devils have got to take the second best. To me, right now, it's definitely the Penguins have the number one. It's the most entertaining. They're always good games. They're always hard fought. Same thing with the Devils and the Flyers. Even a little bit more today. More so in the 90s and like early 2000s when the Devils were one of the top teams in the NHL. And they were just dominant year in and year out. Guys like Scott Stevens, Jake Pandolfo, Patrick Elias, McKay, Brodeur, Stevens, all those guys. You just don't get that. You get some grit here and there with the Flyers and the Rangers. But I don't know. It's just there's just something about those games that just brings an extra spark out of it. And I don't necessarily see the spark between the Flyers and the Rangers because the Flyers are what? 6 out of 7 wins in Madison Square Garden are the last 7 times they played each other. So they weren't really feisty games.
I think that I think we'll see more of it increase, because if the Flyers and the Rangers trajectory should put them as opponents in the playoffs a little bit more moving forward, which I think will help really reinvigorate the rivalry. Because I think the golden era of the Rangers-Flyer rivalry was the 1980s when they were always facing each other. That was the golden era of the rivalry. They had a little bit of it in the 90s, but by then the Rangers were older, the Flyers were younger. It just wasn't the same as compared to the 80s when they were equal.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I'm sorry. I'm laughing at one of Priz's posts. What's up, Priz?
Hey, Priz.
In the chat. I see Don in the chat. I see Eileen. What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's having a good night.
Absolutely. And Moira actually has a throw in there. I would say the early into mid-2000s Sabres. Oh, yes. The Sabres are on my shit list forever because of the mid-2000s. Will always be.
Yeah, I mean, that was more – I feel like that was more during the playoffs than it was anything else, as it should be. Because you got to fight, scratch, and claw to get every single win that you can, especially in the playoffs. And they're a lot harder to come by. So I think you're going to get a little more feistiness out of the playoffs. But as far as like regular season goes, I definitely see Flyers, Penguins, number 1. Flyers, Devils, 2.
Gotcha.
I would say Flyers, Caps, 3.
See, the funny part
– because of Tom Wilson.
Yeah, true. Because I've never really, and it's weird, maybe it's because we don't face them nearly as much in the playoffs as we normally do other teams, but I've never really had as much hatred for the Caps as I've had for, obviously the Penguins, it's never going to be balanced, but even for like the Rangers or for the Bruins, hell, I can't fucking stand the Bruins, and I think most of that was Lucic and Marchand, honestly. But still, Eileen's saying disagree to the poll. She says, I fucking loathe the Devils. So she's in the ballpark that you're in there on that one.
Smart lady.
And we got Chris Dunn saying, what's up, boys? We're going all the way now. 1 in a row. Oh, well said.
You win 2, that's back to back. You win a 3rd, that's called a winning streak.
Baby steps. We need a baby steps to know what that is.
I will say this, though, and I know we're going to break it down a little bit more here in a few minutes, but I'm really impressed with the way that oh crap, why am I forgetting his name now? Wade Allison, sorry.
Ah.
Woo! I'm tired, so I'm going to forget a lot of things tonight. Wade Allison has looked really, really good since being called up. And he's putting himself in great position. This dude has a nose for the net, and it's a shame he doesn't have. He should have a goal in every single game that he's played so far.
I know. I'm waiting for it.
JJ put it perfectly. This dude is a junkyard dog and wants to do nothing but score.
Yeah.
And you've seen it early. Like I said, he should have about 6 points already just from what I'm seeing early on here. About 4 goals and maybe a couple assists, but he's looked really, really good. Good positioning. He doesn't look flustered at all. He looks calm. He looks composed out there. He puts him, like I said, he puts himself in good position, and his stick is always on the ice. He's ready to shoot at every single moment. And I know when we had John Riley on, who's Flyers developmental coach, I was big on him then, and John was with me, saying that he's taking the steps forward for sure. I can't wait for this. I can't wait for this kid to really like blossom. Like just seeing this early, this kid is really going to be everything that they thought he'd be when they drafted him.
Absolutely, man. And with that grit and determination, that'd be perfect. That's perfect for the Flyers. You need that on this team. And Prism saying, hope y'all don't play your way out of Owen Power. I don't even know if we're really in the running for Owen Power, honestly, even if we did suck out the rest of the year, honestly. But
Cody Canterbury says Schittsburg's number 1, Boston number 2, Jersey's number 3 for his rivalry.
Okay. Yep,
so
I see it right. Yep, that's understandable. And I can understand the Bruins' hatred. I mean, the Bruins, over this last decade, they've become a pain in the ass to the Philadelphia Flyers. And it's not, and the weird part of it is, this is the strange part, the Flyers and the Bruins have only met twice in the playoffs. That's the funny part. They have not met for a rubber match. Because the Flyers got it in 2010, the Bruins got them back in 2011. They've never had the rubber match. So it's almost like, are we due for it?
It's back and forth. It's very back and forth. Either Boston handles the season series or the Flyers handle the season series. Like you said, it's never back and forth. One team always dominates the other. And it's really quite funny because the Flyers did it last year. Boston's now doing it to them this year.
Absolutely. It's crazy to think about that. And then Moyer, of course, chiming in, 2020 will live forever, be the greatest comeback in sports in my eyes. It was great doing the reverse sweep to Boston.
Hey, I see Don's comment there. Detroit's moving up in the world. Look at that. Look at that.
Nice.
Don. That's what I'm talking about. At least your team's going up. I think we're staying steady. What are they going to do?
Well, I mean, to be fair, the Red Wings started rebuilding, before, so it should go that way. It should is the key word.
They finally got Lucas Raymond on the ELC, so that's going to be something very positive for Detroit moving forward, especially in the next year or two.
Let's see here. And Eileen's got, what decade do you think was the best Flyers decade? I mean, it's hard to really go against the 70s because they won the 2 cups. They were the most dangerous team in the entire league. I mean, when you talk about just being tough guys, they were tough guys. But for hypothetical, I'll exclude that. Taking out that era where they were so dominant, I would say, I'm going to
95 to 2005.
That's a good era.
Probably one of the better decades.
I'm gonna go the 80s. And the reason why I go the 80s is because, to me, that's the one team that I feel like if there was a team that could knock off the Oilers, that was the team that could knock off the Oilers. Them or the Bruins were the one, or even the Canadiens. The only 3 teams, and the Flyers were one of them. In my honest opinion, I think they were really great in the 1980s. And I'm talking like the post after the Bullies retired, and you got Zezel, Tocchet, Prop, Poulin, and Mark Howe, and Hexy was the goalie at his prime. That team was built for a cup. It's just a shame they couldn't get it. That was a great era for Philadelphia hockey.
I mean, like I said, 95 to 2005 for me. That team was constantly in the playoffs. They were constantly at the top of the conference, constantly at the top of division. They were just straight flat dominant because you had guys like Leclerc, Renberg, Desjardins, Lindros, Hextall, and net. But then after him, a lot of back and forth. Eileen Brindamore. Just
Moore, player.
Great hockey players and guys that just knew their roles, understood their roles, and executed. I mean, great head coaching through that span as well. It didn't matter how good or bad the coach was, got the best out of the players. And like I said, they barely missed the playoffs at any point in that span there.
Yeah, they didn't miss it until 07. That was the only time they ever missed it in that era. That's it. And the best part of that
too, like even when Bobby Clark was running the team, he went out and he made splashes that made sense for the team. And they all, I can't remember specifically, but I'm pretty sure like 97% of them worked out in the Flyers' favor every time.
Yeah.
And granted, there was always guys at the end of their career, like Tony Amonte, just to name one off the top of my head. Unfortunately, Peter Forsberg wasn't a Bobby Clark move, but was he?
No, he was a Bobby Clark move because 06, 07 was the last year that he was GM.
Okay. So you got Forsberg, who unfortunately had that ankle issue, which really ended his career. But, I mean, just great moves. Just great moves that they made. A real understanding of what was needed in the locker room and the roster and all that.
So Don wants to know, since you being the Ducks fan here, what teams do you hate the most as a fan of the Ducks?
Any team on the West Coast right now. And I mean like actually on the West Coast. LA, San Jose. Let's go to that one team in the desert in Nevada. I can't stand Vegas just because they are so good. And they took Jay Theodore, and that really kind of irks me.
Dude, I remember
so good.
I remember that when they first year in the league, with Vegas' first year, and every time you played Vegas, every time we would be in the studio getting ready to do the show, and all of a sudden you'd be like, those fucking Knights, I cannot fucking stand them. I'm like, yep, they've become
Ducks can't beat them. Still can't beat them. Still can't beat them. 4 years. I think they have maybe like 3 wins.
Oh God. Well, here's the thing though. When you guys are going up, they'll be going down. So who knows?
Not like the way that they're built right now. They still have some young talent. We might be going up and they're staying steady.
Anyway, so
Chris, you're pretty spot on. I mean, I don't hate Arizona. They're kind of irrelevant, like all the time.
I mean, Arizona.
You hate Boston. I also still hate. I despise Nashville. Oh, they're like. I don't even hate the team. Like what's up, Adam? You catch Adam on Kicking It Stateside. They've been on random nights lately for some reason.
Yeah.
I can't stand their fan base. Nashville's fan base is the most annoying fan base I think in the NHL. I hate LA's fan base because they're so fickle.
Wait a minute. You mean an LA fan base is fickle? No, surely you jest.
Let's ask Ralphie. But I can't stand like all the chant. Like it's probably one of the best atmospheres to be in for a hockey game, but I can't stand it. All the chants, all the stupid shit, like the goal chant every time they score.
Oh,
team will be down like 6-1, and Nashville's fan base is still chanting that. I'm like, I don't think now's the time to be chanting that. Probably saying, "Hey, we suck," not "Hey, you suck." But I mean, like I said, it's got to be one of the most fun atmospheres to be in, and that's what I hear. Like it's really fun to go to a Predators game, but I can't stand the fan base. I hate them.
But the funny part is too, though, and it's funny because I was going through a random season something, and I realized something. When the Ducks, and I forgot about this, the Ducks had a 103-point season. They just beat out the Kings to win the Pacific. first round they draw the Predators, and the Predators beat them in 7. And I was like, wait a minute, did that happen? And then it came back to me like, holy shit, I remember when that happened. I just remember how shocked I was. Because I'm like, there's no way. No fucking way the Predators just did that. And then they went on to lose to San Jose. But still, it was kind of ironic that that happened. I was like, what the fuck? What the hell just happened? But anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah.
Believe me, I'm still in disbelief of some of the shit that's happened over the last couple years with hockey. Some of these teams.
That's true, man. That's one good thing about not being a dominant team is that you're never considered to be like legit, and so therefore you can just sneak in there and take out the legit team that didn't take you seriously enough. That's always nice to see the fans react to that, especially if you're the one doing it. But anyway, so Cody's saying, do you guys think it's a pattern with new teams? Vegas went their first year. Will the Kraken go? New teams have their pick of some of the best players. I don't know.
I mean, it's. I think Vegas was just like a. How do I want to put this? I think they got, I don't want to say lucky, but I think George McPhee, their GM, did such a great job in the expansion draft, bringing themselves a great mixture of veteran leadership and younger players, which you're seeing now has been just absolutely brilliant as far as building that team. And, they went ahead and they traded players that they didn't feel like they really necessarily needed, like a Trevor Van Riemsdyk, who was taken in the expansion draft and then I believe he was traded to Carolina for draft picks.
He was.
So, McPhee did a great job of bringing in draft picks too. So now they're drafting and building a team around players that, they can just kind of use as like a, what's it called? Wow, my brain really isn't working tonight, is it?
Oh, what, like draft capital?
Door effect. So as they lose guys, they're bringing guys in, but they're also still they have that allure to bring in guys like an Alex Pietrangelo, trade for a guy like a Max Pacioretty, get a guy like a Paul Stastny, who they did trade back to Winnipeg. But it all depends on what Ron Francis does. I think there's potential there, and it all depends on who teams choose to protect. You can only protect an X amount of players, which I believe is 5 forwards, 3 defensemen, and a goaltender. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. There's potential there. It all depends on who's available and who Ron Francis decides to take.
Yeah, that is true, and he's a very good GM. And night, Eileen. Hopefully you take care. And Don is saying, fellas, how far is the Flyers from a playoff spot? Very far. Flyers are at 49 points. The Rangers are at 52, which they will gain no ground.
60.
Yeah, Bruins are at 60. Even the Rangers, they have a lot's got to go right for them in order for them to even make the playoffs, and they're a lot closer than we are. So
let's put it to you this way: they're not mathematically out yet, but with 10 games to go, they really need to gain 10 points. But with the way Boston's been playing lately, it's going to be really, really tough for them to gain some ground.
Yeah, the only way we could is if the Bruins went on a really bad losing streak, and the Rangers did too. So that's pretty much the way it would have to go, and it's very hard to expect that at this point. And Kevin's saying, well, I wonder if that happened when the NHL first started with a championship game. What do you mean? Like with the expansion drafts? Or what do you mean? Kev, get back to us on that one. Let's see here. Prism saying, as long as Kane marches Chicago back, I don't care what Nashville does. Chicago or Dallas make the playoffs. If Dallas goes in, I can maybe score some tickets. Oh, there you go.
I know, Maddie, you're not going to agree with this. Me and Priz were talking earlier. I would like to see Chicago make another run for Taves because he will be back next year. I think Chicago made that announcement official today that he's doing better and that he will be playing into 2021-2022 season.
I mean, honestly, for me,
let's go.
I don't. Yeah, at this point, I really don't care anymore. You know, do I need to see it? No. Will I care if it happens? Honestly, no. 2010 was a long time ago. It's a decade ago. It's time to put that behind me.
I want
You
to.
know,
Listen. I don't want to see Taves go out because, let's face it, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I don't want to see him go out because of this. I want to see him go out on top with the cup over his head. That's how I want to see Jonathan Taves go out. That's how I want to see Patrick Kane go out. Say what you want about the teams. Those are the two of the best players in the league. Kane is going to be the best American-born player of all time. And those types of guys, you want to see go out on top. Not because of injury, not because of a lack of interest on the free agent market or anything like that. Not that will happen, but
or go off
those
on
guys you want to see. You want to see him play one more, get one more cup to raise over their heads, and then call it a career.
And you don't want to see them languish in a bottom of a barrel team that's trying to transition or retool or what have you.
Exactly.
So let's see here. Oh, and this is what Kevin meant by that.
Don.
Oh my God. Oh man. See, here's the thing though, Don, man. You know, it's weird. It's got to be weird knowing the fact that the Detroit Red Wings, when they get good again, they're not going to be going up against old rivals. They're going to be going up against new ones. It's going to be a totally different ballgame. I mean, yeah, you have Toronto and Montreal in the original six, and with Boston too. But really, I think the big rival for them right now in the East would be Tampa, since they happen to meet a lot in the playoffs before Detroit officially hit the bottom of the barrel there.
I mean, they'll still see teams like Colorado and all that. Like, it'll make. I never agreed with Detroit going to the Eastern Conference to begin with, but they still see these teams a couple times a year, so it'll still be fun. Yeah,
I gotcha. Kevin was saying with expansion draft and how it all started with who made it to the finals.
I can't answer that question.
Honestly,
I'm old, but I'm not that old.
All the expansion drafts, through everything I've looked through and everything I've researched, there's only two teams that have ever done it coming out of an expansion draft. St. Louis, because they were playing in the same division as all the other expansion teams, and they happened to get to the final because that's how the playoffs were set up. And then secondly was Vegas. No other expansion team did it. Because all the other expansion teams, it took them a little bit before they would get there. It even took the Flyers a little bit, and they were the first expansion team out of the original 6 era to win a cup. And that took them about 5, 6, 7 years before they eventually won the 74 cup. So when you think about it,
all the expansion rules were different back then too.
True. And they also, for the first 3 years, the NHL original 6 teams did not allow the expansion teams to pick from the entry draft. That's how much of a dick the original 6 teams used to be. So you wonder why the original 6 teams are not always looked so fondly upon by expansion teams. There's a good reason why. But anyway.
But then you have your expansion teams like Atlanta, Minnesota, Nashville, and Columbus that sucked for X amount of years.
They did, man.
And 2 of which still pretty much do.
Yeah, I mean Columbus right now. Who knows? They may very well be on their way back down.
Had like 4 good years in their existence. Atlanta's in Winnipeg now, so that really aged well. And then you have Minnesota, who's been okay. I mean, they got to the Western Conference Finals once in their existence. Nashville's been to the Stanley Cup. I think twice.
Nashville's been there once. And they lost to Pittsburgh, so you know
now they're on the back end. They're going to be unloading a lot of contracts within the next year or two. So
true. Well, we'll see. Because if they make the playoffs, do you think Bud Pohl will be a little tempted to say, "Oh no, we're good"? Like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Year. What's up?
He said it this year.
I mean,
he did make a move.
He did, but I'm just wondering, because you know how sometimes things change on a dime. You know what I mean? People's attitudes change quickly. But anyway, let's see. And I think Priz agreed with you with Taves. You know, I want to see Taves go out on his skates, holding his stick, you know, taking his farewell lap. He's arguably the best captain since Nikita and arguably the best two-way career Blackhawk in 20 to 30 years of the original 6. And that's a good point. You know, when you look at it, it's hard to argue against that. There are very few captains in Blackhawk history that can say that they've done what Taves has done. And really, there's none, because the Blackhawks did not win many cups, even in the original 6 era. So, but with that, though, guys, let's turn this one back to what we were supposed to talk about. We did the show backwards. Anyway, the Flyers and Rangers. So to get started off with on the first period, it was back and forth. The Rangers eventually got that goal, and then it started to look like, okay, maybe the Rangers are going to have control over this game.
They had control over the first period.
Yeah. Then the second period rolls around, and then things start to go the Flyers' way. Then they get that more opportunities in there, and then eventually they get the tie. Farabee wound up getting a penalty shot, which was interesting, although Shesterkin did a good job of...
It was what it was. I mean, should have been a penalty shot, and it was. Pulled him down on a clean breakaway.
He did. And, unfortunately, Prince Igor rose to the occasion. He really gave Farabee nothing to shoot at.
Well, Farabee didn't do himself any favors either. He pretty much stayed on the one side of the ice instead of going from one side to the other back across. But
yeah,
he's in his second year. He's going to learn.
Yeah, it takes time. And then, so after that, we go to the third period, and by the way, too, with that first goal, Van Riemsdyk taking a shot off the face. So, good on you.
Getting one the hard way.
Yeah, jeez. That's one way to get a goal. Not preferable, but hey, you got it. And third period rolls around. The Flyers get that. They get that goal that gives them the lead. That changed the momentum big time for the Flyers. Then they got another goal. And then it's like, okay, good. That should be enough to close out. Although, towards the end there, the Rangers started to push, and the Flyers were in trouble there. And then the bread man himself decides, hey, I'm not done scoring tonight. And he scores another one. Apparently, Panarin really loves playing the Flyers. They showed a graphic. He has, in the 10 games played, he has the most scoring opportunity, or more points per game. So he really loves playing the Flyers.
Did he have the first goal?
He had he may have deflected. It may have been Smith who got the goal, or no, who was in front of him?
Brendan Smith. It was Brendan Smith.
It was Smith. Okay.
Brendan Smith. It was clean.
Yeah. So I think Panarin took the shot, but I think it wound up deflecting and going by.
It was a clean snipe by Smith. I think
okay.
Panarin got a screen on him, but Smith took the shot. He had the goal.
Oh, okay then. Okay. So that's what it was. All right. It was reversed. All right. But anyway, so yeah, so it wound up being a much closer game there towards the end. And luckily, though, the Flyers closed it out. It got a little hairy there towards the end, but the Flyers did finish it. And really, at this point, I'm still pretty much saying the Flyers aren't making it. Like I said, a miracle really has to happen, and Boston has to just fall right the fuck apart for it to happen. But you know what? To hurt the Rangers' hope that their playoff aspirations, I just like that. I like hurting them. That's pretty much what it is. It's like the Penguins. It's a symbolic victory, if anything else. It's just pride at this point. We're not making the playoffs. Well, let's just go out with some damn pride here and not just go down on our sword or something.
Do something
like
to
that.
build off of going into next year. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I thought both goaltenders put on a display. They put on a clinic tonight. Moose especially made a bunch of crazy saves he probably shouldn't have. Put himself in great position, not for just one, not for just a second on some of them, but third opportunities as well. A little bit of a scare, I think it was, in the first period when it was the end of the first period when Lafreniere got pulled. He either got pulled down or he blew a tire. And Elliott's leg got caught funky against the post. Fortunately, not hurt. But Shesterkin for a long time did a great job putting himself in good position as well to make some of the saves. Flyers did make it challenging for him to make some of them, but he came up with some, flashed the leather a few times. I just thought it was a great game by both teams. Great first period by the Rangers, very lopsided. Flyers really came out, made some adjustments in the second, and I think that power play goal off of JVR's jaw was a huge momentum swing for the Flyers and really set the tempo for the rest of the period. To see JVR come back and in his first shift back go right back to the front of the net, it says a lot for JVR and his value to this team.
Oh, yeah. You can't question the toughness of JVR. Sure, we can knock on him for not being the big goal scorer that he used to be, at least for his contract. But you can never deny the toughness that JVR has. He's always had it. He's always been the type of guy who isn't afraid to throw the body down. He isn't afraid to get into a tussle. He's not afraid to take shots. Or take shots like off of his body or what have you. You know, JVR's always had that toughness in him.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, the power play was definitely not the best over the last few games, but tonight they get 2 power play goals, and I believe both were from JVR. Huge. So, you know, a tip of the cap to JVR, definitely my player of the night for the Flyers. Just, you know, being able to come back from taking a puck off the jaw, which Elaine Vigneault did say that, you know, everything's good. It's probably going to be a bruise, no break, no fracture or anything like that. So you should be fine moving forward. And I just got to say, what a snipe from Voracek tonight, too, on that third goal. I thought that was a great play overall. Usually you would sit there and try and think like, okay, so Voracek's probably going to pass here. And I think this is why it made it easier for him to score that goal. You had a 2-on-1 coming. You have JVR on one side or Voracek on one side. All right, so yeah, he's going to be coming down. Sorry, I'm trying to figure this out looking at the screen. So he's going to be coming down. All right, so he's going to be coming down one way. Voracek's on the other side, or Giroux's on the other side. You have a man in the middle. So now you got Giroux breaking for the net. Voracek's with the puck, kind of streaking down. You kind of see Shesterkin a little bit leaning towards Giroux. Because if you do your homework, and we say this every week, Voracek's a pass-first player. The fact that he knows that, you see him lean a little bit towards Giroux, that opens up the spot, and he just sniped it home. So he has Shesterkin leaning.
Absolutely. It was great. It was a great thing to see, and it was a great way for the Flyers to go up by 2, and very, very important because after the Rangers scored again, that prevented them having to go to OT, and anything can happen when it's 3-on-3, especially if the momentum swings in the favor of the home team. So that's the other thing. They were in the Garden, too, so it's very important that you win this in regulation and just keep the crowd silent. But
yeah, there's that. And the one thing that I did like tonight that they haven't done a ton of is score multiple unanswered goals. Usually you'll see them score a couple to tie it up, and then they'll get one and then just sit back. No, they went out. They not only did they tie it up, they got the lead and they got an insurance marker, so they gave themselves an extra goal to work with. And it's a good thing they did because, you know, Dan Quinn did a great job drawing up a play for the Rangers to get a goal in the closing 2 minutes. And, you know, it was a great shot by Panarin. I don't even think Elliott ever saw it. He had 2 guys break right for the net. So it's a good possibility he never even saw the puck. But that was a hell of a shot. Like he got everything and then some in it.
Oh yeah.
It was a hard, kept it low. Like I said, there was a screen there. Great draw up by Dan Quinn there to get the Rangers within 1 with 2 minutes left in the third.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Don, thoughts on Spencer Knight's first game with the Panthers? You know, great chance. Yeah, from what I saw, he had a really good game. The Panthers wound up winning, and he looks like he's going to be a big deal for them moving forward. So now I'm wondering, interesting. Are we going to have an interesting situation with goaltending over there in Florida? Which for them, that's a good problem to have because Florida's had their issues in the goaltending department in the past. So that would be a good situation for them. You know, they won't have to rely on if Bobrovsky wants to play good or not. Although I shouldn't dog Bobrovsky. He's played very well this year as compared to last year. You know, he's played much better this year. But anyway, so as we move forward, since we were talking about, the Flyers and the Rangers and how right now it's kind of more of a pride thing, the playoffs are getting closer and closer and closer. And, Prism saying, yeah, but I was expecting more from them making the playoffs last year, making a decent offseason moves theoretically, and then adding Lafreniere, Zibanejad, Capo.
Yeah, but I think these schedules this year and the divisions, only staying within the division, isn't helping some of these teams. Because there's some good teams up in the North division that aren't performing well. There's teams all over that just aren't performing well because you're seeing these same teams over and over again. If you get flat out dominated by these teams, it's just not going to help.
True. I mean, think about it. We look at Vancouver, who ironically managed to get themselves back into it. But, think about it this way, though. The way Vancouver played this year, that's not really indicative of what that team is. Because that team is way better than their record would indicate. We know that. We saw it last year. That's more of what Vancouver is. Sure, there's still work to be done on them. But at the end of the day, they have way more talent than a 500 record. Or, just slightly above or slightly below 500. You know what I mean? They're a way better team than what we saw this year. And I think a lot of that is due to the fact that, like you were saying, Bri, you're facing the same teams over and over again. And all the Canadian teams are relatively mediocre and kind of in the same ballpark as each other. Yeah, you could say Toronto, Winnipeg are a little bit ahead of the game as opposed to some of the other ones. But at the same time, it's still one of those things of, they're all kind of hovering around that same part of they're all there. The talent's there, but it's like there's something missing. You know what I mean? And Edmonton too ahead of the pack as well. Forgot to mention them. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. What's up, Wills?
Hey, Wills, what's going on, brother? And he's saying, I would disagree with the poll. To me, it's Boston and New Jersey, mainly for my hatred for Scott Stevens. And that is completely understandable because we all know Scott Stevens was a thug. But anyway.
Hall of Fame thug, though. You say what you want.
Unfortunately.
Man had a great career.
He's got his plaque on the Hall of Fame. He's got spray paint around it. But anyway.
What's he say? Probably says, false idol. Or false hero or something like that.
Yeah.
Or whatever they spray painted on Superman and
what was it, False God or something
Doomsday.
like that?
False God, that's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Oh, there you go. And it's orange and black on the false, and it's red and blue on the God for Rangers and Flyers. But anyway.
Absolutely.
Anyway. I will put the exclamation points with the eggplant and the black for the Ducks. But anyway. Yeah, you're over it. Over 03.
I'm over it. Listen, Korea did what he needed to do. He got back out there in about 5 minutes, did miss his shift, scored a goal.
Yeah,
that's not true. The biggest fuck you to Scott Stevens. I don't know what is.
That's true. That is a pretty big one. Oh, man. It's a shame, man. I really wish that the Ducks had won in 03. Not just because it was the Devils, but what a story that would have been, man. Clearly, the Ducks, a young franchise that no one would have expected to go on the run they did, and they did. And it's oh, man, for them to beat a team like the Devils, who had already won 2 cups previous,
well, they
that would have been
1, 2, and 3 seats just to get there.
True. They went on an amazing run, and it would have been spectacular. You know what I mean? The story alone would have been worth it.
Absolutely. I should switch over to the hockey game. I think they're televising the well, if the Blues win tonight, they take 4th in the Honda West.
Well, then there you go. Yeah, that's the sponsor of the West Division, Honda.
Yeah, so the Honda West, you have the Discover Central, Mass Mutual East, and Scotia North. So it's all banks.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, think about it. How many stadiums do we know that are done by banks? Almost 90% of them. Yeah.
You got to win that playoff spot there, Ross, because St. Louis is only a point behind, as far as I know. I haven't seen the score yet.
Yeah. I got to give credit, though, to the Coyotes. I mean, the Coyotes, all of a sudden, they're in the playoff picture because you figured they were going to hover and be mediocre this entire season, which they were for a period. But then all of a sudden, and it's all because the Blues have not really played all that well, and they've kind of fallen off a little bit. And so now you start seeing the Coyotes trying to sneak in there. The Ducks actually had a chance, and then they fell off. And then
they're only 10 points back. They can still do it.
They can. I'm not saying they can't. It's not.
They got 9 games left. They can pull it out.
Yeah, I'll give
9
you
game
that.
win streak. Let's go.
Yeah, shoot for the stars, man. Shoot for the moon. But yeah.
No. Ain't happening. They're in just about every game, but that ain't happening. They need to figure some stuff out before they can get back into the playoffs. They're not far out though.
True. I mean, San Jose found themselves. They're still ironically in it, although I still have my doubts that they're gonna that they'd be able to get in. They're just
4 points back. It's not bad.
It's not bad. It's just I feel like they're so mediocre. It's like, but then again, so have been St. Louis. That's the weird part of it. It's like that's why this is happening because St. Louis is not having a very good year, and that's what results in this.
A lot with St. Louis is mediocre goaltending.
True.
And mediocre defense. Losing Pietrangelo, I think, has really hurt that team.
Oh yeah.
And they did a good job bringing in Torrey Krug. Like Torrey Krug is a good defenseman.
Oh,
so
he is.
Don't get it twisted. But he's no Petrie because just the leadership aspect that he brought to that team was just unbelievable. You lose your captain, you lose a part of the identity.
Absolutely.
And to lose that leadership it's huge. Like I can't. There's like no way to really describe what it's like to lose a guy like a Alex Pietrangelo.
It's like if it was like when you've talked about it. It was like when San Jose lost Pavelski. They lost a lot when Pavelski went into Dallas. You know, because that was a heart and soul guy.
No, absolutely.
So with the playoffs kind of gearing themselves around, we'll give a quick look at the playoff picture here to see what it's currently looking like at this point. So that way people kind of have an idea. So for those who may
know how they're doing it this year, was it going to be 1 first 4 in each division?
I believe that's exactly how they're doing it. They're doing it like they used to back in the 1980s.
Okay, so each division is playing each other.
Yeah, and then after that,
okay.
Yeah, the only difference is that the semifinals. I don't think that they are going. I don't think they're going to be seeded by what conference that team would take in. And if that's the case, we're just going to have normal semifinals where it'd be a 1 through 4 system, basically.
Okay.
So with that, currently in the Central Division, we have the Hurricanes who are at 67 points. They would be taking on the Predators. So that's a matchup where I really don't like the Predators on that one. That should be a win for the Hurricanes. However, though, stranger things have happened. We've seen the Predators do it in the past. However, though, this is a much weaker Predators team than normal. Hurricanes-wise, I mean, they're having a phenomenal year. I got to give credit to the Hurricanes. I mean, not to say that they didn't have the possibility of being this good. They did. But I didn't know that it was going to be this good this year. You know what I mean? Like, I thought it was still going to be a Tampa division, but I got to give credit to the Hurricanes, man. They've turned it into theirs.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, a lot of the success and the failures of this season are going to be weird because of just how the scheduling has been. A lot of games in a short amount of time, and a lot of seeing each other, not even really catching that break. You're going to get a lot more veracity out of some of these players, and it's easy to take advantage of that. And I think Florida and Carolina have done that.
Yeah.
And now I think Carolina beat Florida earlier, so I don't know if this has been updated yet. But Carolina, like you said, 67 points. Nashville's at 52. And I'm not surprised by the way Carolina's been playing. I mean, they're built to win. They're built to win now. It's just a matter of can they get the goaltending to go with it. And right now the answer is yes. The goal differential is plus 40, which is, I believe, one of the tops in the NHL. I'm going to check real quick.
I think it might be. Because, I mean, 150 on the goals for, 110 on the goals against. You know, I mean,
they're top 3 in goal differential.
Yeah, 31, 10, and 5 record. I mean, that's pretty damn good right there on a shortened season. That's practically like going into, that's a fucking phenomenal record right there.
Only teams that are higher, the only 2 teams that have clinched so far, and that's Vegas and Colorado.
Yeah, That's it right there.
And
So
they're at plus 55 Colorado and plus 53 with Vegas.
yeah, so they're right up there. They're really right up there. So Prism saying, who would be a scariest fourth seed, Dallas or Chicago? I
think
would.
Chicago.
Yeah, I was going to say Chicago. I feel like Dallas is too streaky. I would say Chicago would be the scary one because you don't want to put Patrick Kane in a series. You
I
don't.
do like the fact they got Sammy Vatanen. He has definitely helped them get back into the swing of things and getting back up there. But Chicago's going to turn it back on at some point, and I actually think they played tonight. Did they?
And we agree, Prism. Aho is
No.
nice.
Which Aho? There's two Sebastian Ahos in the league, so you gotta be a little more specific.
Sebastian Aho, of course.
Yeah, Sebastian Aho. Yeah, which one?
Sebastian Aho.
Well, I know Sebastian Aho, but which one? But for real, with Chicago, with the way that Duncan Keith's been playing all year, Patrick Kane's been standing on his head, getting a lot of production from the younger guys. Defense has been pretty solid. You're getting pretty good goaltending from Lankinen, who came back down to earth a little bit, but he's still putting up some good numbers. Dallas is on fire right now, so I can't really discredit that. But I don't know. I like Chicago. I like Chicago to be the more dangerous. But, I mean, right now, 4 points out.
Yeah, true.
Chicago's 4 points out, so.
Don's like, who cares about that division? Move on. He's like, don't mind me, I'm salty.
Don, you're only 11 points out.
And you only have the 8th worst record, man. You're all right.
You said the one in Carolina. Here you go, Priz. Let's see how you do. What team does the other Sebastian Aho play for? I'm going to put that one out there.
While Priz gets that one, while he looks that up on Google search.
He better not Google that shit. I'm going to be pissed off if he does. And he knows that well. I'll call him out later. Me and him will have a long conversation before I have to get up and go to the gym at 6:30 tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Don's saying, so you're saying there's a chance.
Absolutely. It's only Nashville, and then Chicago, and then Dallas.
I mean, Chicago's the one that scares me a little bit, but the Nashville one, I could see that jump. But let's see. I mean,
not
here.
with the way that his name's in my head. I can't think about it. Whatever. I'm not even gonna go there. I'm done.
All right. So let's see. In the 2 versus 3 matchup that we have here, it is the Battle of the Sunshine State, the Florida Panthers and the Lightning. And I don't want this division to change its standings. I want this matchup. I want it real bad. Because it'd be the first time ever you would see both teams in Florida face each other in a playoff series.
I think it just stumped Priz.
I think Don had a Brad Ryer saying, I hate the Flyers and Islanders evenly. Really? Okay, then.
I don't blame you for that one, Brad.
Or are you a Flyers fan who's just mad at the team this year? Because I understand if you totally are.
Brad's a Rangers fan. He's an all New York.
I know. I'm just joking. Brad, yeah, he being the Rangers fan of the group, it makes sense. I mean, I'm sure he probably still has a good hatred, though, for the Devils, too. I'm sure it's there. But anyway, Priz, Calgary, no. He's like, keep texting the show. I wasn't. All right.
I trust you. I trust you for some reason. I do.
So, Brian, just give him your social now. Anyway.
He's already got it. Me and him talk all the time.
Anyway, yeah. So,
oh boy, I love Priz.
So, if this Florida Lightning matchup happens, who you got in this? You got the Panthers or you got the Lightning?
I don't know. That's a tough matchup.
It is. That's why I want to see it so bad. I really do.
Florida has done a lot to really improve this team. Tampa Bay's done a bunch of little things to improve themselves too. God, it's just tough. I'll probably have to go with Tampa. They got more experience. they have the better leadership. I think Florida's got the better roster at the moment. Florida's not playing bad hockey whatsoever.
Don is
Tampa, but I think I'm going to go Tampa. I would go Tampa.
Don's saying Florida.
And got to keep in mind they are the defending Stanley Cup champions for a reason.
True.
And as long as they still have guys like Stamkos, Kucherov, Hedman, and Vasilevsky on that roster, they will always compete.
Oh, absolutely. Evan Taylor saying they finally won. Let's go. Yeah, Flyers got a good win tonight.
What's up, Bev?
Yeah. And let's see. Oh, hold on. We got Priz chiming in over here. And he's saying, I honestly wouldn't know how to take advantage of having someone else's social. I'd be a terrible white-collar criminal.
You can catch Evan on Flight Zone every Monday night. Brad Ryer, we saw in the comments, you can catch him on the Sports Hounds. I think they're Sunday night now.
Yes.
Early Sunday afternoon, late Sunday afternoon, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's tough. It is. And Priz, you are a horrible white collar criminal. Let's just put that out there. I don't know. That's tough. Like that would have to literally be a coin flip to see who would win that series. Because like I said, Florida's done a lot to get better. And they're playing out of their minds right now. And if Spencer Knight can keep playing well, which I don't think he played tonight, they could be a team that gives Tampa some trouble. But again, Tampa's still got that essential same roster that won him a championship last year.
See, I'm gonna go Florida because I'm thinking upset. I'm thinking like, it would be fitting. Like, you know how this weird shit happens in hockey. You know, defending champs, they go into a round against the team they have never been faced before. It's their fellow Florida team. They've always been considered the better of the two organizations. So most people would think it should be a win for Tampa, even if Florida's going to give them a hard time. But we've seen great teams get beat by lesser teams. It happens all the time in the playoffs, whether it's through an injury happening or through a very poorly timed mistake or whatever it is, or maybe it's OT. And a crazy fluky goal goes in, and it happened to be an elimination game. You know what?
Ottawa wins tonight. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I really hope Ottawa wins tonight because I just looked at the standings. Anaheim's got their third worst record in hockey right now. And if the new lottery rules apply, I need Anaheim to get into the top two because I think they're only two teams can go in for the number one pick now. I think they changed that rule.
Okay.
That's the best part, Ev. Anything can happen in playoff hockey. You're absolutely right. And by the way, Chris, Sebastian Aho plays for not just Carolina, but apparently he also plays for the New York Islanders. I meant to give you that answer.
So either that or what he is, it's an illusion. He's just running between both of them so fast, you can't tell the difference. He's got the speed of the Flash. And you just don't realize it this whole time. Mm-hmm. He's playing two teams at once. That would be record, mate. There you go.
What's crazy is he spells his name exactly the same.
and they're not related, right?
Same number? No.
I
think it's kind of like number two, which makes it even harder.
It was kind of like it was like with Devontae's. And I thought, no, okay, it's spelled the exact same way. Are they related? And I looked it up. No, they're not related either. Him and Taves are not related whatsoever. But anyway.
Devon, no.
Yeah, so let's see. Evan also saying, how we doing, guys? And what's up, Prism? He's pulling up my social right now. I'm doing fine. I mean, I'm always
putting some extra codes on your social right now.
Add a couple of extra numbers to the end. Mm-hmm. No one will ever know.
Just give them a fake one, either or.
Just put
zeros.
Do
what most girls do with me. Just give them a fake number.
Oh, that's always the worst kind of fucking rejection right there. The fake number. It's like, oh, come on. Like,
yeah, but after a while, you get used to it. It is what it is.
That's true. It's still a dick thing to do.
Most women are dumb. They don't know a good thing when it slaps them in the face. Whatever. Ain't my problem. Dude,
you
ain't
slap.
my problem.
Well, no wonder she gave you a false number. You slapped her in the face. Anyway.
Oh,
You set
well, what are
yourself
you
up for that. Yeah.
Sebastian Aho on the Rangers on the Islanders actually wears 25. So it's close.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so let me see here. So moving on to, I'll save our division for last since it really doesn't matter. Let's go over here to the division that has already 2 playoff entries in it. To the West we go, and right now the Coyotes are still currently in that 4th spot. However, that can change very quickly because the Blues are only 1 point away. And the Sharks currently are 4 points away, and the Kings are 5 points away.
And Anaheim is pretty much done.
So let's see
With
here.
that minus 47 goal differential. There you go, boys. Shooting for the stars.
Is that the worst in the league?
No, Columbus has minus 48.
Oh, okay.
Buffalo has minus 49. Notice the trend. I'm going up. Oh, man, you don't even have as bad a differentials. Ottawa's differential is better.
Well, that's actually pretty bad.
That hurts. Oh.
Yeah.
Third worst goal differential.
So let's see here. We've got
It's painful.
Coyotes against the Knights. I mean, I've got the Knights on that one. Yeah. Then the Avalanche versus the Wild. Now, this one here will actually be a fun one to watch because, first off, the Avalanche and the Wild have a lot of history with each other going back to the early 2000s. So that would be exciting to see that matchup.
Not even that. Don't even need to go back that far. Just go back to this season. With these teams playing each other so much, they've been very back and forth. The Minnesota-Colorado season series has been incredibly entertaining. A lot of physicality, a lot of goal scoring. Goaltending's been goaltending, and Colorado's got more issues with goaltending than any team in the NHL, I feel like. Going out and getting Dubnyk from, I want to say it was San Jose.
It was San Jose, yeah.
San Jose. Just adds nothing but depth, and I think that's really what that series will come down to is goaltending. Cam Talbot coming out of nowhere and having a really good year.
Yeah, that was crazy to think about it. You know, it's like, holy shit, Cam Talbot still got some gas in the tank. Who
I wouldn't have thought that. You know me, I'm not a big Cam Talbot fan.
No, yeah. There were plenty of times where you absolutely dogged Edmonton for the fact that they tried to keep him at starter.
I mean, it wasn't even necessarily that. It's they gave him so much money to be the starter, and he had one good year.
Yeah.
And then he was dog shit the rest of his term in Edmonton. Okay in Philly. He's having a good year in Minnesota. But then again, they really built that defense to be really good in Minnesota with Ryan Sutter, Jared Spurgeon, Jonas Brodin, Matt Dumba. So that's the top 4 right there. And that's 4 big names.
And obviously the big young rookie in Kaprizov, who's probably going to win the Calder. I think we can pretty much safely say that. He has been it's going to be interesting to see what he does in a playoff series, especially against a team like Colorado. Ooh, that would be a playoff matchup that would be very interesting to see. That's a tough one to actually choose. I mean, I'll say Colorado wins that one. I don't think we'll see an upset there. I think Colorado can win that in 6. But I wouldn't be surprised if it goes 7. That's a possibility. It could go 7 between those teams.
But it's going to depend who's in the net.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's going to be a big question mark, and it's going to be a big factor in that series. Because we saw that last year with Colorado when they got down to their 3rd goaltender. They were done. That it was pretty much the series was Dallas's, and I think it's going to be the same thing as this year. Like here, let's look at Cam Talbot's stats through 26 games played. 16-6 with a 2.35 goals against and a 9.25 save percentage. Dang. So those are huge numbers right there. Yeah. And then why did that do that? Capo Kakinen. Capo
I think it's Kakkonen.
Kakkonen. All right, we'll go with Kakkonen. Through 20 games played, 13-7, a 2.66 goals against, a little bit higher than Talbot's, and a 910 save percentage. Putting up good numbers. Like these, Minnesota's not a team to sleep on, and they have the offense to support the defense. So that could be the series of the playoffs, to be completely honest with you.
It has the potential.
I think Minnesota could be the team that knocks off Colorado. Huge upset.
That's possible. I mean, hey, we know we're going to get an upset somewhere. It's going to happen. That's what happens in the playoffs. Question is, who's it going to be? And it could very well be this one. Minnesota could very well be the team that upsets us. And let's see. Prism saying, slight off-topic question. Still about the West. Where do you think Kopitar ranks all the top in the all-time top 20, 30, 40, 50, 100? Ooh. Depends on what we're, I guess, of all players and all positions.
I'd put him in the top 40 for sure.
I would, I'll go top 30. I think he deserves to be up there. And I think he can fit up there.
I don't know if I'd give him the Yakupov, as you would put it, but I mean, Lafreniere's been playing really well as of late, putting himself in good positions, all that fun stuff. He's starting to really get the hang of it. He's starting to figure out ways to put points on the scorecard and be effective. Some players it takes a little bit longer than others, but definitely not putting up the production that a number one overall should, but still early very early in his career. So he can really and he's gonna really go up. But yeah, definitely top 30 for Kopitar for sure.
Yeah, and Prism saying Robertson is making a push bid but deserves to be second. Kaprizov is definitely the Calder. And we got
I can't
Joe.
think of anybody else playing better than Kaprizov.
We got Joe saying, I'm checking in from the Middle East of 109 today. Wow. And no hockey here. Ooh, sorry about that, man. But
I hope you're doing all right out there, brother, and I really appreciate everything that you do, man. For real.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. Thank you very much. And hey, man, all the best. All the best out there.
Just come home safe, all right?
Yes, absolutely. And let's see, Pris saying true. Jack Hughes took a year and turned it. Yeah, absolutely. Jack didn't have the best stellar rookie year, but he's done so much better this year. You know, it happens. You know, some guys adjust quickly, some don't. You know what I mean? All right, so let's see here. What do we got in the North? In the Canada division, we have in fourth place.
I think this is definitely going to be one of the easier divisions.
So at the 49 points, we've got the Canadians in the fourth spot. Flames are at 41, so they're ahead by a good decent margin here. The Maple Leafs are number one overall at 63. Maple Leafs and the Canadians, I would say the Maple Leafs should be able to win this. I'm going to say should because I'll believe it when I see it, boys. You still haven't managed to figure out that first fucking round. But, and then we go to the Jets and the Oilers. 57-56. Man, they are that close. Holy shit. So they're fighting for positioning. So that'll be interesting to see how this one goes down to the wire, who gets home ice in this series.
I definitely think Toronto wins their series. They made some pretty good moves at the trade deadline. And Nick Foligno is finally going to join the lineup. I think he was at practice today for the first time, getting those new teammates, new system, all that other fun stuff that comes with being traded. Unfortunately, had the quarantine going from Columbus to Toronto. I like the leadership that they brought in and the depth that they have this season. I think Montreal had a really hot start and really, really cooled off. Came back down to earth real quick. I think Toronto's just really starting to heat up now. And to put Foligno on a line with Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews, that team is scary.
Oh, it is.
That team is scary.
So let's see. Prism is saying Toronto wins a cup and pushes their next cup win to 80 years and somehow triples it. Very well
I don't
said.
think they're gonna care right now as long as they get one this year.
I
And everything
actually
I'm hearing from the Toronto fans,
Oh, God.
especially up in Canada, it's getting they'll sacrifice another 80 years just to get one this year.
I will say this though, man. This is very selfish of me, but I'm going to say this right now. I really don't want the Maple Leafs to win a cup this year. And the reason why I don't want them to, because if their drought ends, guess who has the longest drought in the NHL?
Whap whap.
Yeah. So I really don't want to see Toronto win the cup this year. It's like, nope. We got to win one before you guys, and then you can win one.
All
Anyway.
right, let's be real. I know we talked about this earlier on in the season, but I mean, obviously you have Morgan Riley and you have Jake Muzzin. Toronto goes out at the deadline and gets Ben Hutton, who was really good in Anaheim and is defensive depth, especially come playoff time. You go out and you sign a guy like TJ Brody. Huge move. Just from a physical aspect. That's something that they absolutely needed on both sides of the puck. And then you go out and you bring in a guy like Wayne Simmons that's more physicality. You go out and get Jumbo Joe, leadership, physicality, scoring upside. And you got him on the cheap.
You did. I think that's primarily because of the age. But,
You bring up Nicholas Robinson, who's having like Prish said, he's starting to throw his name into the Calder. Oh no, where'd it go? You go out and bring on another guy like Alex Galchenyuk, who's a depth player at this point.
Pretty much.
Mitch Marner, Austin Matthews, Jonathan Tavares. You go out and get Riley Nash at the trade deadline.
I mean, I know they've been bulking up. I'm not denying it. They are going all the fucking, we know this. In. Yeah, that's definitely what it is for them. I
didn't say the other one. You go out, you get Jack Campbell.
Yes.
And at the trade deadline, you bring in David Riddick from Calgary.
I know. Absolutely. Although,
wrong Robertson. Too many Robertsons in the league there, Chris. Too many Robertsons in the league.
There has been an uptick in the Robertsons.
Toronto's all in. They're like, this team's making the push, and they're making the push now because they know they're not going to have much longer. I mean,
Prism.
I'm not looking at the contracts right now, but you're going to have to worry about figuring out who's staying and who's going, especially with some of these guys with the large contracts.
Oh, absolutely, because you dedicated a ton of cap space to Marner, Matthews, and Tavares alone. Prism saying, for me to give it up for Jumbo, it's like he's not on the Sharks anymore, so I don't really feel all that motivated to see him get one now. And it's mostly because it's on Toronto. It's like I don't want the longest drought. Fuck that. No, let Toronto. Can Joe go to another team? Just go to another one. Go to Vegas. I don't care. I'll let Vegas have one. I don't give a shit. Anyway. Moving on. So, hell, you can go on to the... No, I will never say that. Absolutely not. I pulled myself back from the brink there. Anyway.
Maddie doesn't want to be the only fan base with the beta hooked up so they can watch the Stanley Cup.
Yeah. It's even worse for Toronto. They'll have to get actual film reels. So, it's even worse. So, but anyway. All right, so Jets and Oilers. Let's look at that matchup there. This is going to be an interesting one. So, you got both teams that are kind of very offensive based. And the question is, do you think that it's going to come down to which goaltending holds up? Because I think that's what it's really going to come up to. What goaltending holds up here?
Between Winnipeg and Edmonton?
Yeah.
I think it's going to come more down to defense. It's can Winnipeg keep McDavid and Draisaitl off the scorecard, which you really can't. But if you can keep them to a minimal of like maybe 2 points each a game, I think that puts you in a good position to win the series. I mean, that's been a nasty, hard fought season series this year too. So I don't think you're going to see. I think you're just going to see it get worse as playoffs continue to go on. I think this is going to be a really good series as well, and I think it's going to come down to if Winnipeg can slow down instead of shut down, slow down McDavid and Draisaitl. I think they have a really good shot at winning the series. Their defense isn't great. Edmonton, after Darnell Nurse, you really have Tyson Barrie.
Yeah, that's pretty much what you got.
And then Mike Smith. Mike Smith is your goaltender.
I know.
Winnipeg should win this series, but like I said, having McDavid and Draisaitl, it's going to be tough.
For me, I don't want to do this to Winnipeg because I kind of feel bad for them because, a lot of people left Winnipeg and a lot of people were wondering if the Jets were still going to be able to compete, which I know that there was a lot of question marks surrounding them. I'm going to say
they're
this.
Playing better without Laine.
They are. I'm not going to lie. And, I will say this, though. I think Edmonton can get by this. I think McDavid and Draisaitl can help them and get them forward. Because I feel like last year was such a slap in the face to Edmonton. I feel like they've got this drive in them that's like, no, what happened last year is not happening this year. We're not going out in the first round. If we're going out, it's not that way. To me, I feel like I would go Edmonton here, only because I feel like, don't get me wrong, Winnipeg can play that game. If it gets down to who's going to get those goals, Winnipeg can play that game all day. But I will say that, though, I think Edmonton's going to push it. I think they are. I think they're going to do everything in their power not to get eliminated in this round.
No, of course they are. It's like I said, it's been a hard-fought series this entire season between these two teams, and that having that spark already is just it's gonna ignite something big in the playoffs, and it's gonna be a hell of a series. But it's really gonna come down to Draisaitl and McDavid that series, because we know Winnipeg's fast, and we know they can score. We know they have a decent defense and really good goaltending, but McDavid and Draisaitl are game changers. They are. Always if they can keep those guys under wrap, they can. I think they could sweep Edmonton. I have no faith in their scoring depth whatsoever.
Yeah,
I definitely have no faith in their defense, their goaltending.
Oh yeah, I can understand that. I don't know. This is going to be an interesting series. This will be a very, very interesting series, and I think it'll definitely be very telling for Edmonton. More telling than even the loss to the Blackhawks in the first round. This will be very, very telling for them.
Yeah.
So we go to our division to finish it up. And Priz, to answer your comment there, I appreciate you sending me that. I will not be trading my social for it, though. To be honest, though, you don't want my identity. So you really don't. Let's see here.
Oh, absolutely, Prez. He's the best in the game right now, hands down.
Yep, absolutely. So let me see here. We go to the East Division. Right now, as it stands, in fourth place is the Bruins at 60 points. Closest thing to them is the Rangers at 52. It's a pretty good safe bet that Boston's going to hold on to that. Going on, the top seed is Washington. And just to tell you how close this division is, Washington has 64 points and they're number one. Boston has the fourth place and they're at 60. That is how tight this division is. Jesus.
This division's always tight. It's one of the best divisions in hockey, even during a normal season.
True.
Dude, seriously, Connor McDavid is stupid. He's stupid. Bro. Maddie, I kid you not. This sumbitch in 45 games has 77 points.
Christ. And he's not even like 5 years into his career. Like, Jesus.
25 goals, 52 assists, and 45. This dude's playing NHL on like pro. On pro. Like, he's on rookie.
So, no, you're right, man. Prism was saying Pilate is the one who decided to crucify Jesus by letting the crowd decide. No, that's true. Connor has not exactly had the best track record in the playoffs. However, though, they did get through that one round. However, though, I think Zach Cassian had more to do with that than Connor McDavid. But anyway,
Even Leon Draisaitl, man, he's stupid too. 45 games played with 64 points. In a normal season, these guys are looking at 150 points for Connor McDavid and probably 130 for Draisaitl. It's ridiculous. It is not fair. Trade one to Anaheim. Leave the other one in Edmonton to rot. These guys are playing a freaking video game. Like, it's stupid. It's a 56-game schedule. These guys are still going to put up close to 100 points.
I know. It's nuts, man. Oh, Christ.
So dumb.
Now, to think about it, too, the year that McDavid got hurt and he only played 35 games, he had 48 points. He played 35 games, and he had 48 points. And the only reason he didn't have more was because he got hurt, and he only played 35 games.
Connor McDavid's a cheat code. It's ridiculous.
Oh, man.
It's ridiculous.
And Prism saying Edmonton needs to trade for Ben Bishop. It's not the worst option.
They ain't doing it now.
No, they're not. It's too late for that. But it wouldn't have been the worst option in the world for him. That's for damn sure. Probably would have been.
I haven't even seen Ben Bishop's stats this year, to be honest.
I mean, he got hurt, so that didn't help nothing. That's the biggest problem with Bishop. He always gets hurt. That's the one thing that kills him. He is a great goalie. He just cannot stay healthy. But so let's see here.
He hasn't even played this year.
Yeah, because of the injury.
I think he played at least a handful. I mean, his career total's not bad.
That's the problem. It's
well over 500. 2.32 goals against in his career and a 921 save percentage. Yeah, they should trade for Ben Bishop.
Prism even said, though, that other hurt players did get traded. You're not wrong on that. But Prism saying Ottinger is the future in Dallas from his numbers. I mean, Ottinger's played very, very well for Dallas. I can't say anything bad about Ottinger. Even if the teams went cold, it's not his fault. So he's played very, very well. So let's see here. Washington versus the Bruins. What we got here? For me,
Washington in this one.
I would say Washington. Here's my problem with the Bruins. They have a lack of scoring depth. And like we were talking about with Edmonton, the scoring depth there is not nearly what people see. We see Boston score a lot, right? But we forget who's getting those goals. It's really only three guys.
Marchand,
and Bergeron. And you're right. What do all those three guys have in common? They're on the exact same line together in the perfection line. You shut that line down, that team's in trouble. And then on top of it as well, has Halak come back yet? Or has Rask come back at all yet? Or are they still rocking with Zimba?
That's a great question. I'm not sure. I think they're still rocking with them from the posts I see on their website.
All right, then. So you're going into this, too, with an inexperienced goalie. So, I mean, not to say that that's the worst thing in the world. Matt Murray, obviously, we could just throw that name out there. He did what he did. But, I will say this, though. I still don't like Boston's chances against Washington. I think Washington's got way too much. And it will be very interesting because it'll be Chara going up against this old team. So that will be a very intriguing matchup to see. I hope Chara just like drills Brad Marchand's face into the fucking boards. That would be fucking great. It'd be funny if Chara revealed this entire time he hated Marchand and he couldn't say anything because he was the captain of the team. I would cry laughing if that happened. But anyway, it's not gonna, but it would be great. Anyway.
Rask is back.
Oh, he is back.
So
Okay.
he's played 3 games since he's been back. He's allowed 4 goals in those 3 games. Coming off a shutout against Buffalo yesterday.
Well, unfortunately, that's not saying much.
Oh, wait. Was the picture Swayman or was it Rask on the front? I thought it was Swayman. I don't think Halak is back yet, though.
Okay.
I'm going to check for you real quick.
Let's see. Prism saying that Verona said he had a hat trick and I think maybe 4 goals. Really? 4 points tonight. And Mantha has been on fire for the Capitals. Oh, yeah, that's definitely gone that right way.
I still think they made a mistake trading away Verona, and I think Detroit made out like a fucking they made out huge on that deal. Getting Verona and Panic in a couple picks. But you know what? And this is why I like Washington. They went out and made some depth moves as well to try and get some depth for the playoff push and get better. And they definitely did that, especially on the back end. They knew that was going to be one of their weak points going forward, especially with the way that Samsonov has been playing. I don't want to say inconsistent, but he's pretty hot and cold. I thought he was a little streaky this year, but then again, it's his first full year as the number 1. So you expect there to be like hot and cold spots, but you go out and get a guy like Anthony Mantha, it's huge. It's huge for Washington. It solidifies the back end, and it's only going to make them better, especially in a system that is heavy offensively. Mantha has a ton of offensive upside. So, I think Washington's built to compete. I think they can beat Boston.
I think so too. And Prism saying I like the young kid McMichael. And also
Priz, you got to send me a list of these guys. I need to start looking up some of these younger guys.
And Prism, by the way, also I did forget to mention Marchand is cum fungus. I forgot all about that. But anyway, moving on. So I would say Washington would probably win this in 5. I think Bruins could win a game, but I think a 5-game series. I mean, I don't necessarily think a sweep. I think the Bruins would work hard.
They're definitely not going to sweep because Rask is going to steal a game or 2.
Yeah, I think that would probably be. I'm going to go with 5. I feel comfortable on that one.
I like 6. Like I said, Rask is known to steal games.
He has been, yes, absolutely. And we go to the middle matchup, tied.
By the way, Colorado beat St. Louis today.
Oh, okay then. So St. Louis in regulation.
Yep.
Okay then. So St. Louis did not gain a point. So the Coyotes retain their 4th spot as of current situation right now. That could change tomorrow. But anyway.
That's how they clinched. They clinched tonight. Okay.
Oh, Colorado, they clinched because of that? Okay.
Mm-hmm. That win tonight clinched it for him.
All right, then. So let's see here. We've got middle matchup in the East Division. We've got the Penguins and the Islanders. 63 points matching each other in the deathmatch division. Penguins and Islanders. Now, this is interesting because you've got a team that can shut offenses down in the Islanders and can also score. And they did get offensive depth in Kyle Palmieri and Travis Zajac, and got leadership too in that locker room. And then you also have the Penguins, who have plenty of offense, and they have plenty of success after having 2 cups to their name, or 3 with Crosby and Malkin. So, what are we thinking here? In terms of how this is working, because you've got also goaltending matchup will most likely be Tristan Jarry versus Sorokin.
I don't know. I don't know about that. It could still be Varlamov.
Yeah, true. Varlamov could take that spot. Yeah, that's true. There is a bit of a tandem there.
This is tough because both teams made great moves at the deadline to help bring in some depth and some leadership. On the Penguin side, you brought in a guy like Jeff Carter, which is huge because he's won 2 cups with LA. Just on top of the 3 with Crosby, Malkin, and Letang.
Yeah.
And so that's a ton of leadership and a ton of experience there. And then on the other side, you have the Islanders who did the same thing. Brought in experience, you brought in leadership, you brought in offensive depth to help the special teams. I feel like they made another move too. But anyway, I think, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I think all the 2-3 seeds are going to be like the best series of the first round. Like if
I
it
could
was to
see
start tomorrow,
Yeah.
Colorado and Minnesota, Edmonton and Winnipeg, Pittsburgh and the Islanders, and I forget the other one.
Florida and Tampa.
Florida and Tampa. Like those are going to be the best series of the playoffs.
And the crazy part is, too, in almost every division, they are not separated by many points. They are that close to each other. Some by one, others are tied, like the Penguins and the Islanders. So that's crazy. Prism talking about cum fungus. If he ever ate a puck with his nose and it permanently altered his physical appearance, I'd get it freeze framed moment of that puck impact tattoo. Damn, that is good hatred right there. I love it. That's what I'm talking about. All right.
I think that series is going to come down to goaltending if it's going to be the two young guys, Pittsburgh and the Islanders. I think it's going to be another long series. I think all these 2-3 seeds are going to be long series, long, hard-fought battles. Like these guys are going to be going to war.
Oh, yeah.
Jumbo Joe got another goal tonight.
Huh. There you go.
Just huge series. I kind of wish the playoffs would start tomorrow just for these because I know that there's going to be adjustments and some of them aren't going to be the same, but I'm going to have to go Pittsburgh. I'll have to go Pittsburgh in that series.
I
think the Islanders are better defensively. I just think the experience on Pittsburgh is going to be what gets them through that series.
I am going to go.
And Nick Foligno has his first point as a Maple Leaf.
Good for him. For me,
Matthews beating a 3-on-1. Are you kidding me?
Matthews is a cheat code too, by the way.
He's going to have 40 goals in a 56-game season.
Oh, man. I'm going to say right now, in my opinion, I will go with... Fuck it. I'm going to flip a coin. I don't fucking know. Christ. I don't know what team to give it to. God damn it. Hold on. Let me get a fucking coin.
Oh, you're literally going to flip a coin.
Fuck it. Yeah, I'm doing it. I don't care. All right. Tails. Hey, you call it, Bri. Tails. Who's Tails?
Tails will be Pittsburgh.
Tails will be Pittsburgh. Heads will be good old Islanders. Okay, I dropped it.
I knew you were going to do it, too. I
had it in my vision, too, and I fucked it up. Oh, well.
And now you can't find it because now we're never going to know.
Yeah, now we're never going to know. God damn it. I fucked up. Oh, well.
Only on the happy hour.
Fuck it. I'm going to say that it landed on the fucking head side. I'll go Islanders. Anyway. Chris saying, I'm going Islanders. Barzil says I'm a top 5 player in the league and makes another deep playoff run.
He's a top 5 player in the league. He's such an underrated player.
He's another guy who's a cheat code. The shit that he does with the puck is fucking beautiful.
It's ridiculous. His hands are stupid.
I mean, good God. And to think about it, they got rid of John Tavares, and everyone wondered what the fuck is going to happen now with the Islanders. And then all of a sudden, here's Matthew Barzil. It's like, the fuck? Like, what? Did you suck the fucking devil's dick to get Barzil? Like, what the hell happened here? Like, holy shit.
You knew Barzil was going to be something special. I mean, he was, the 13th player taken in his draft?
Yes.
And that was a deep draft. You knew he was something special. And you don't expect him to take the reins as early as he did. But the fact that he's been so successful ever since, and this team, has been successful ever since. I think they've been better without JT. And I think that's going to say a lot because I think they're going to win a Stanley Cup before the Leafs do.
Wow. Boy, that would be the biggest punch to the fucking balls for John Tavares. Like, wow, you totally just butt-fucked the Islanders on your way out to Toronto, and they won a cup before you did. Oh, my God.
They're a good team. They are a very good young team. If you look at the team, look at their nucleus.
Yeah.
Matt Barzal, obviously, he's number one.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Anthony Beauvillier.
Yeah.
And then you bring in a guy like J.G. Pajot. Great leadership there. You bring in Palmieri. That's great leadership. You have Travis Zajac. That's the experience that he has in this league being on a winning, losing, rebuilding, win now type teams is invaluable. It's invaluable. He's been to the Stanley Cup Finals, I'm going to say, a couple times. He's definitely been there once. I know that. Lost to the fucking Kings, but, whatever. And on the back end, you're fairly young too, but you have guys like Johnny Boychuk who could be physical. It's going to be nuts. And yet, Ilya Sorokin is to Prince's point, a nice young goalie, and he's shown that he can play. I mean, he definitely can play. The Flyers can't beat him. Flyers can't even score against them.
Well, we can score. We just can't finish the game against them. Yeah.
I mean, Sorokin's what, 4-0 against the Flyers this year?
Yeah, he's outdueled both Hart and Elliott, which is not good. But we can beat Varlamov. Great. We can beat Varlamov, and he's on his way out probably then. Great. Anyway.
They're in great shape to win a cup. I mean, so is Toronto, but Toronto can't seem to put it together come playoff time.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem. It's going to be weird with how that all works out at the end of the day. But it's good. With everything we've got right now, man, this is going to be a crazy playoff. It'll be a weird, time capsule of, hey, you want to remember what it was like when hockey was like back in the 80s? This is what it was like. Top 4 teams in the division, and they had to fight each other to get out just to go to the conference final back in the day.
Yeah, it's going to be similar to what was set up last year, but it's going to be altered a bit.
Yeah, but it's a little slightly different because they were doing more of the general seeding and it didn't really matter division wise. So, but this one, it's divisional based, and it's kind of interesting in a way, and you go into the semifinals. And like I said, I don't think they're going to do it conference-based. So it's just 1 through 4. So whoever had the best record and had the most points coming out of it, they're going to be number 1. Whoever had the least is going to be number 4. So you could essentially get a matchup that you've never seen before in the playoffs.
And
so
that's be.
Yeah. And it'll be exciting because then that's possible we could get a matchup that we may never see ever again in a Stanley Cup final. So essentially, think about it this way. Essentially, you could have a team just for shits and giggles, you could have Florida go to the Stanley Cup Finals and face the Maple Leafs. And they're in the same division in normal situations. You can never have that Stanley Cup Final on a regular basis, but you could have it this year. Well, actually, yes, you could because they're in separate divisions. So if they happen to avoid each other in the semis, you could have that Stanley Cup Final this year.
I don't know how they're going to set it up yet, but I think you're still going to keep your West and Central facing on one side of the bracket, East and I guess North on the other side of the bracket. So I don't know how it's going to break down yet, but I don't know if you'll get Florida and Toronto, but you could definitely get 2 Eastern Conference teams facing off against each other because
you could.
There are a couple of Eastern Conference teams that could potentially make the playoffs that are playing considered in the West.
You could also get 2 Western teams because one could essentially, you could say, Winnipeg could go on a run and they play in the West. They're in a Stanley Cup final position. They could face Colorado. It's like, oh, well, there you go. two West teams meeting each other in the Stanley Cup Finals. So
Yeah, so in the Honda West, there's no Eastern Conference team, so you don't have to worry about them. In the Scotiabank North, you do have to worry about the West because you got 2 and 2 right now that are sitting in playoff positions. So you have Toronto, Montreal, and you have Winnipeg and Edmonton. Toronto, Montreal, obviously we know is in the East. Winnipeg, Edmonton in the West. And then you also have in the East, no Western Conference teams, but in the Central, it's a good mixture. So there's a possibility that you could wind up seeing 2 Eastern Conference teams versus in the Stanley Cup Final, or 2 Western Conference teams facing off against each other in the Western Conference Final. But right now in the Discovery Center, there's only one Western Conference team in the playoff position, and that's Nashville. And I don't see them getting out of the first round.
yeah, that's true. I don't either. But, it'll be very, very interesting to see how it all shakes out. And let's see here. And per se, Maple Leafs' last best run before was in the Sundin era in the early 2000s. Yes, it was 2002, I believe. Yes, it was 2002. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they lost to the Carolina Hurricanes. So that was their best run.
So that was the year that Carolina won it, right? 2002?
No, that was the year they lost. They lost to the Red Wings.
Right.
Yeah, that was the year. That was the first of the many super teams that the Red Wings put together to try and win a Stanley Cup, and they managed to get one out of it.
I miss those days. I'm not going to lie. I miss when the Red Wings were relevant. Sorry, Don. I don't know if you're still listening or not, but
I miss it because I'm really gonna miss the playoff matchups between Colorado and Detroit, since that's not happening. As long as Detroit's in the East, it's like, because those were so great. Now, if they ever meet in the Stanley Cup Finals, that would be great. But unfortunately, it's tough. It's tough to see that happen, because you got a lot of teams to compete with.
Why is Travis Hammond fighting over that hit? That was a clean shoulder-to-shoulder hit. I can't stand that anymore. You can't have a good open ice hit anymore.
Okay, wait a minute. So how are we both in the box and 5-minute majors? Their best run was 0-2. They lost in the Eastern Conference Finals to the Carolina Hurricanes. That was the closest they ever got to the Stanley Cup Finals, besides the era of 1993 when they lost in the conference finals to Gretzky and the Kings. That was as close as they've been since they last won the Cup.
I don't know what I did, but I probably deserve to be in the box.
All right, well, yeah. All right, so besides that, before we wrap this bad boy up, I want to preview something that we may bring in. Oh, that's why. I'm not necessarily missing. Okay, miss the
let me
rivalry.
clarify. I miss Yzerman, Fedorov. Like I miss those type of teams, those type of players. They were once in a lifetime generational players.
I miss the rivalry. I miss the Red Wings Colorado rivalry, and I miss the Red Wings Blackhawks rivalry because that was fierce too, especially in the era where the Blackhawks were the new dynasty and the Red Wings were trying to keep the party going and trying to get past the Blackhawks, and they almost did once. But that was a great series when they were up that 3-1, and the Blackhawks shoved it right up their ass. They did that to a lot of teams.
I knew I probably deserved it.
But anyway, so to round this all up, the playoffs are coming around the corner. Right now, we have this little leeway since the Flyers are most likely not making it. And since right now the playoff picture is getting a little bit closer into view, but it's not there just yet. Basically, I'll be debuting something that we could be doing in the offseason. I have this lovely book here called The 100 Things a Flyers Fans Should Know or Do Before They Die, written by Adam Kimmelman. By the way, I think almost every team has one of these. So, Brian, I'm sure the Ducks have one of these. So, if you wanted to grab one of those, I'm sure you could find it. But with that, though, what I'm going to do is we'll be taking a random number between 1 and 100, and I'll go through and I'll read it. And I'll see what is one of those things that a Flyers fan should know or do before they die. So that way everyone is educated properly. Because that's the important thing. We want to be educational on the show. Very, very important. So,
100 things that you should know and do as a Flyers fan? Is that what that's saying?
yep. 100 things Flyers fans should know and do before they die. Like I said, I think almost every team has these because I know the Canucks have one, the Flames have one. I'm sure there's one for the Ducks. There should be at least. You know what I mean? So
I won't lie, I'm kind of intrigued by it. I'm kind of curious what's in that book. Let's do a test run on this.
that's what. Yeah, we might as well. We got the leeway to do it.
Let's go 25. Actually, no,
25?
screw it. Let's go 9.
9. All right, 9 it is. So number 9 on the list here. Let's take a look at what we got. That's 8. 9. Here we are. Clarky's greatest hits. So that should give you an idea of what we're in for. There's really no questioning who the greatest player in Flyers history is. He wore number 16, won 3 NHL MVPs, captained the team to a pair of Stanley Cups, and earned a rightful place in the Hockey Hall of Fame after he retired. But good luck to anyone who wants to get Bob Clark talking about how great Bobby Clark was as a player. There are desk drawers with bigger egos. All right.
Interesting.
He goes on to say, I know I played on a great team, was a decent player, and it goes on to say, and he's not being modest when he says these things. Clark really doesn't judge himself by goals he scored or points he totaled. When asked what the most memorable moments were of his career, and even though he has plenty of them, his response was perfect. Mostly the 2 cups. Mostly the 2 cups. Mostly. Okay. Mostly the 2 cups. The 35-game unbeaten streak, that was a great accomplishment from the Flyers. And no mention of the memorable overtime goal he scored in Boston in Game 2 of the 1974 Stanley Cup Finals, which is a wonderful highlight in Flyers history. No mention of how that score in Boston Garden, a house of horrors for the Flyers for most of their existence, gave a young team the confidence it needed to win its first championship, because they did steal that game. No, Clark soft sells that goal like he does the other 358 goals and 1,210 points he racked up during his 15 NHL seasons, all with the Flyers. Clark completely glosses over the fact that he ranks as the franchise's all-time leader in assists at 852, points and games played at 1,144, and shorthanded goals at 32, or that he is a top 5 all-time for the franchise in goals at 4th at 358, and in penalty minutes at 4th at 1,453. I would dare for a captain to match that. I don't think any captain ever will. And a power play goals at 5th at 99. Or that he's one of 4 players in NHL history to have a plus 500 rating. He's also the club's all-time leading playoff performer, holding the marks for games played at 136, assists at 77, and points at 119, and his 42 goals are 5th. And his 7 game-winning goals are tied for 4th. But none of that really rings his bell. The only time Clark cops to any individual achievement standing out in his mind comes from the 1982-83, his second to last season, when at age 33 he won the Frank J. Selke Trophy as the league's best defensive forward. He said, I thought that was pretty impressive. Winning the Selke Trophy was pretty important to me after having a fair amount of offensive success and MVPs and stuff. Late in my career being the best defensive forward in the game. I think it completed my circle, that I could play forward, I could play defense, I could play hockey. I knew both ends of the rink and could play both ends of the rink and was willing to play both ends of the rink. To a man who defines himself by team, it's easier to let his teammates talk about him. Bernie Perrott went on to say, Bob was a great individual. He cared about the players, cared about the team. It's a prime example of what leadership does for a team. I played with a lot of players in 15 years, and Bob, without any doubt, in my mind, was one of the best leaders who ever played the game. He was as hardworking a player as there ever has been in the sport. This is Dave Schultz saying that. and he was just dedicated to the game and to his team. It was great playing with him. He just did it all. He never stopped. I can take a couple of shifts off. Can't play phenomenal every shift, but he played very well and very consistently, and he made everyone else step it up. He wanted to win so bad, I guess all players do, but some can't get there. To handle the pressure and to play as much as he did, it takes a phenomenal athlete. And the final one comes from Joe Watson. The team was the ultimate, and he was the ultimate captain. I don't think there was a better captain in professional sports than Clark was. That's number 9. Everything you wanted to know about the great Bobby Clark, the greatest Flyer that ever lived.
It wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be.
There's plenty of other stuff in there. It's not just that. There's stuff of like really great moments in Flyers history or moments of this, moments of that. It's not just that stuff. So that's the beauty of it. You give a number and we'll read it down and we'll find out just what exactly hides behind it. And let's see here. Prism went on to say, the Selke and the Norris winners have a special place in my heart. Yeah, that's definitely a good thing to say because it's very rare to see it. All right.
I always have a special place to the Selke winners. You know, you got to be able to play 200 feet.
You do. And it's funny because you think sometimes forwards, it's so rare to see forwards really do the defensive side of the game as well as they do the offensive side. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty of great two-way forwards, but you see a lot of them focus heavily on the offense. Sometimes their defensive game lacks. And to see anybody being able to perform on both sides of the rink, that's always impressive to see because it's never easy to do.
No, for sure. And you have a couple that come to mind right away playing nowadays, but you know, back then I feel like it was a lot harder to play a full 200-foot game because with how physical that the game actually was. Now, with it being more finesse, I feel like it's a little bit easier to be a better two-way player than it was back then.
Yeah, back then it was a very different game. And Prism saying Kopitar and Tays come to mind, and they were very good at that. They were absolutely
Kopitar,
very
Tays,
good at that.
Coots, Bergeron, Brian O'Reilly, just to name a few. They're
very good at what they do. They absolutely are. Don, thanks for the great show, man. Appreciate it. Guys, thank you so very much once again for joining us. We absolutely love you guys. Everything you do for us, we appreciate it. We are nothing without you. We are just a bunch of guys talking shit, not knowing what's going on. Without you guys make it work. You guys make it work all the time. So, if you do like the show and you love the station as well, and you want to get supporting us and support all the other shows, where can they go, Bri, to do that?
Head over to Philly Drinkers LLC, phillydrinkers.com. Get all your ATD merch there, all kinds of great stuff. Stickers, hats, mugs, T-shirts, hoodies, all kinds of great A2D merch. Looking for a specific show, we got that as well. phillydrinkers.com, Philly Drinkers LLC. Get all your A2D merch there.
There you go. So that is where you can support the show. And to give a final rundown to our sponsors, want to say thank you to our show sponsor, Body Check Wellness. You can use the promo code A2D to get 20% off your order, and you can use that at any time. However, though, if...
It's for you, Don.
What did he say?
Love you, buddy.
Well done, Don. Well said, sir.
And I think I said you guys have a chance.
Boy, it's a shame that
I hope you guys don't even get into the draft lottery.
Boy, it's a real shame that the Red Wings and the Ducks are no longer in the same conference because those two would have been better at the same time. Oh my God, to see those two meet each other and you and Don go back and forth. Oh man, that would have been priceless. Anyway, so let's see here. Body Check Wellness, like we said before, at A2D, you can use that to get 20% off your order anytime you want to. And if Riley Cote's on with us, which he is once a month. You can get 40% off of a special THC-free box of products that they have. It's $140 worth of savings. In case you're just a little iffy on the hemp stuff, you can try out the THC-free, kind of get a little comfortable using it, and then you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I can get into more of the other. So it's all for you guys. It definitely works, and it's helped Rob. Let me tell you that right now. Rob has talked about nothing but the improvements it's made in his life. It's made him focused, clear, everything. Also, on top of that as well, for anybody out there who's struggling with addictions or any loved ones that you know of who are struggling with addictions, friends, family, or what have you, do not waste time. Get the help that you or they need. The Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox. Give them a call, 856-651-8110. They'll take care of you there. And, yeah, don't waste time. You know, addiction is a terrible thing, or having a mental issue and not seeking the help you need and suffering in silence it's never a good thing to do. And we don't want to see that happen. So get the help you guys need. And specialized physical therapy. If you got any aches and pains, Dr. Paul Vidal, he'll take care of you. Cherry Hill and Burlington, New Jersey. You can make an appointment at www.specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Ryan, you said it before, man. They did nothing but great wonders for your shoulder there.
They did great stuff for my shoulders, feeling 110% better. If Dr. Paul can't take care of you personally, Sarah or Carrie in the Cherry Hills store will definitely do a great job getting you back to wherever you want to be, whatever your goals are. And Allie over in Burlington, Allie, who I worked with a lot, she was great. She set your goals with them. They'll make sure you get there.
Awesome. And if for anybody out there who's in the market for a home or selling a home, or if you're looking for a change in career or a brokerage, Alan Foy at eXpa Realty LLC is the place to go. You can give him a call at 302-682-8820 or visit him on the web at alan.foy@exprealty.com. Listen, man, we all want to make those big changes in life. And if you go to Alan Foy, before you know it, your home is sold or you're stepping into your brand new one. That's the place to go. And then one last final sponsor we're going to give a little bit of love to is All Campus OC. Unfortunately, they were affected by the fire that happened down in Ocean City. Unfortunately, they've been trying to get back up on their feet. We've been trying to help them cut the cost of that, because it's definitely not easy. And they do have a GoFundMe, and you can reach out to that. If you can give anything to it, it would absolutely be welcomed. And also, if you can't do that, if you have any thoughts and prayers or whatever, that will also be accepted. John Coyle is a great guy. He's done a lot for us here. And we just hope that, they get back on their feet as soon as possible. So if you can donate to that cause, be very well appreciated. So, all right. And before we close that out, just quick little message, little public service announcement. Yes, hit the damn like and subscribe, because you know what? We thrive on you guys, and we want to see more. We want to see more new, fresh faces here. We love all the regulars, but we want more. We want more of you guys.
Edward Taylor jumping in a few minutes ago here. Edward Taylor over on YouTube saying Flyers need to get back to ass kicking and analytic mixed in. Take the analytics out. I'm not an analytics guy. They definitely need to get physical again. They need to start pushing guys out of being in front of Elliott and all that other fun stuff, banging guys in the corner, whatever, what have you. Analytics just need to not be a part of it. But, it is what it is. But yep. I agree with Edward for sure.
Yep. Hey, you know what, though? Put this season behind you. If you have a good run out, then you know what? You build off of that next year. Go back to kicking ass, taking names next year. That's what you got to do.
And then we have these two idiots in the chat right now, Don and Prism. They're lucky I love them.
Oh, but yeah, absolutely, guys. If you love the show, or if this is your first time watching and you like A2D Radio as well, subscribe. And we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're also on audio platforms as well, iTunes, Spreaker. We're on Spotify. Any of the audio platforms you can think of, we are on it.
Twitch.
We're everywhere.
Can't forget
Yes,
about
Twitch.
We're on Twitch as well. So hit that like, subscribe, follow, turn on all the alerts. Don't miss any of the 16 shows we have on a weekly basis. So
yeah, absolutely. Don Don's also
my
saying
love for Don Don is diminishing quickly.
yeah, he said he really did like you in Sex in the City. Yeah. That was a very successful show that you should be very proud.
She has more facial hair than I do, so I don't even understand how I'm getting compared to her. I'm sorry, that was mean. She did nothing to me. I did love it. Listen, I did like her in Hocus Pocus, so I will say that.
I think most guys liked her in Hocus Pocus, honestly. That's the whole reason why she was there.
Tatas were hanging out. Why wouldn't you like that?
Whoa. I mean, okay, listen, when I watched Hocus Pocus, I was like 5. So there's a little bit of a difference.
Watch it last Halloween. Who cares?
I will admit, it's been a minute. I watched more of like Halloween and Friday the 13th, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre before.
All right, let's get out of here before.
But anyway, all right.
Go.
All right.
Now I got down prisms in it.
Yeah, he says I prefer
morons.
you in Tarzan and Hocus Pocus. There you go. All right,
these guys.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Love you all so much. We'll see you guys next week right here on a2dradio.com. And one last thing, if you are going out, even if you've been vaccinated and you got both your jabs, wear your mask still when you go into a restaurant and into a store. We'll see you guys next week right here at a2dradio.com. Peace and love, everyone.
Two are morons.